We're going to talk about Daniel Penny in the New York City subway incident today. I got a ton to say about this. Before I do, the unthinkable has happened.
Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another episode of Mikey Reacts. Today we are reacting to Buddy Brown, but it's not his music. He does post these funny little skits on YouTube where he talks, and he posted one, I think, after the Daniel Penny incident that said, let's just say it, New York City ain't part of America. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm assuming he's talking about the policy, the political policy, not necessarily the people. I think the people in New York City are just as patriotic as anyone else, especially being that New York obviously had the 9/11 terror attack that brought everybody closer, and it was a very, very unifying and although distressing and horrible time. So that, I think, is what he's talking about. So we're going to see exactly what he is talking about. I know there's a big sentiment, especially from like Texans and Southerners, that New York City, the morals or sort of the culture of New York City isn't congruent with the rest of America, because you do have similarities in people that are from the South, the Midwest, and further out west, aside from California, Oregon, and Washington, of course, because they're more liberal than other parts of the country in population and in politics. So that's probably what he's on about. So I'm interested to find out exactly what he means. Before we get to this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below anything else you want to see from me, and also check down in the description, because I have my Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon. You can subscribe to Patreon. It's $5 a month, and I'll be talking more about things like this in terms of politics. And so I'm actually not going to be commenting too much on this video today. We're just going to watch it and react to it, and I will post some comments on Patreon in a longer form for you guys next week, so you can see my real views on, not my real views, I'm never going to lie to you, I'm going to be honest here too, but you can see my more in-depth views about this specific incident, lest I get shouted at by a bunch of YouTube liberals, which is the truth. And not only that, you can also support the channel by hitting that super thanks button and donating to this channel. I'll be donating to charity at the end of this month, 20% of all proceeds. So let's get to this video. I won't bore you too long with my British accent. Let's hit record here. Oh, we've got an advert.
Sometimes in life there are moments when you just need a...
I really like him. I like his personality. I think he's great. This is true. I heard and read about the incident. I watched parts of the incident, and he's right. He did not do a thing wrong. Agreed.
Top of the freaking morning, y'all. Hope everybody's doing good. Happy Monday.
Just to clarify, he's not a hero because of the killing. He's a hero in spite of that. Just simply stopping a man who was harassing and threatening people on a New York subway is what makes him a hero.
We're going to talk about Daniel Penny in the New York City subway incident today. I got a ton to say about this. Before I do, the unthinkable has happened. The Truck Sessions album I've been working on for years and years is being held hostage right now, at least in the USA, on Spotify. They won't play it. It's in Spotify jail. It's displayed, but it's not clickable. And there's no explanation as to why that is. I did a series of live videos last night.
I can tell you why that is, buddy, because you're conservative and they don't like you.
I said, look, I've never been a huge Apple Music fan or Apple fan, but for whatever reason, Apple is playing the Buddy Brown album. It's out there. I said, here's the link. Let's go send a freaking message to these dadgum commies. Same people that tried to push Bud Light in our face, the same people that tried to cut Tucker Carlson out, they messed with the wrong people, y'all. Because now they're coming after me. I said, here's the link. Let's make it happen. Let's send a message. Not for money. Screw that. I've already made it. You know, I've had top 3 albums. I've had a #1 country album on iTunes. That's not the case. It's about sending a message. This album went from number 154 to 76 to 38 to 14. It's right now the #3 album in the USA on country in iTunes. And it's because of y'all. It's because we're sending a message. I'm hoping by the time you watch this video, it's going...
The message is super important because it's getting drowned out by all this new neoliberal stuff. This is important to watch.
#1. So get on there and just, if you could throw $9 at that, just go throw $9 at it. Because we are going to give the biggest middle finger to these commies and these wokes that try to shut us down and say, you can't sing about that kind of stuff. Hell, are you kidding me? I worked on this for years. You ain't gonna stop nothing. And if iTunes is the only place you can get this dadgum album right now that will play it, then go get it. So, as far as the New York City subway incident, Daniel Penny is a 24-year-old decorated Marine, not a former Marine. There's no such thing. He's a Marine that put a homeless guy in a submission hold on the subway because he was trying to attack a bunch of people. Turns out this homeless guy had a rap sheet of over 40 crimes and an outstanding warrant last week for punching a 67-year-old woman in the face. This guy should be getting his own parade. Daniel Penny should be getting a Heroes Award and $1 million for being a freaking hero.
Yeah.
And instead, New York City is trying to charge him with second-degree manslaughter for doing the right thing. So I hope this video right here triggers something deep inside your chest. I hope it triggers a massive pilgrimage. Because some of y'all, this is going to hit hard. You think you live in America, but you don't. I'm talking to like the 5% on this channel that live in Los Angeles County and New York City, okay? But I know you're watching, so I'm just going to tell you this with love. We laugh at liberals all the time because they live in the world of make-believe, but a lot of conservatives are doing the same dadgum thing because they think living in LA County and New York City. But the fact of the matter is, y'all, you cannot coexist with communists. It just ain't possible. Because in a matter of life and death, those fallen cities will not have your back, and they will wait for you to do the right thing so they can throw you in jail.
Yeah.
So are y'all ready to call U-Haul yet? And get on down here and pack up and move to the free states? I'm just wondering. Again, I'm telling y'all this with love, but look, I cannot watch another patriot get arrested in New York, Chicago, Portland, or LA because the hatred towards you on social media is more powerful than the law. Y'all know that's how it works in those cities now. It's whichever side makes the most noise on social media is the more powerful than the freaking law. How can a patriot ever survive in that kind of system? If y'all haven't seen this video I did about a year ago, it's called There's Only 38 States Left in America. I talk about these things I call ANO states, which is American in name only, which ironically means ANO is anus in Spanish, which sounds about right. ANO states aren't safe because that's the first place an enemy is actually going to attack. Our enemies know the places where gun owners have no rights. They know the places where you can squat and set up communist camps and California ain't gonna do nothing about it.
Yeah.
They know the places where cops have little to no authority whatsoever and they could just waltz right in.
Yeah.
Daniel Penny was just guilty of being in New York City. He was guilty of being in an ANO city.
Yeah.
And as of this morning, I just checked, he's raised almost $2 million on his Give, Send, Go funding page,
Amazing.
which I contributed to a lot myself, and I suggest y'all do the same. We have dangerous left-wing extremists that want to see a hero go to jail.
Sometimes
And some of y'all, you know, could be the next ones if you don't get out of these commie hellholes. If you're... I want to appeal to you one last way because this is the simplest way I can possibly explain it to you. If you're still stubborn and you want to be a conservative living in New York City or Los Angeles County, let me ask you something. Do y'all think you're safe in your house when it's on fire because you're sitting in the guest room and the fire happens to be in the kitchen? You might say, what's the big deal? The fire's in the kitchen.
Yeah.
The guest room is just fine. I'm sitting here scrolling on my phone. You don't reach for a fire extinguisher. You don't call the fire department. You don't even get out a dadgum water hose. You just keep scrolling on your phone in the guest room while the kitchen fire just spreads and spreads and spreads. Trust me, your whole house is going down. I can't explain it any simpler than that, y'all. And I know it's hard to move, but we're all waiting down here in the free states, and we got your back when you arrive, I promise you. So get on down here, get out of these places that don't have your back. If they throw a patriot in jail for doing something heroic, that should be your very first sign that there's no possible compatibility that you could ever coexist with this form of government. So get out. We love you. Come on. We got a crawfish boil down here waiting for you and some hamburgers on the grill.
Sounds lovely,
I promise you it'll be the best decision you ever made. I'm just concerned about a lot of y'all still trying to fight the good fight until something like this happens. God bless Marine Daniel Penny. I hope he gets released on all charges.
Yeah.
I hope everything is just completely cleared along with his name and his reputation and everything. Because these are the kind of people who we got to have their back because they did the right thing. They're a hero and they need to be seen and praised as such. God bless y'all. Have a great week.
Daniel Penny's, in my opinion, his reputation is not destroyed. Those of us who see clearly with wide eyes know precisely what is happening here. I personally agree with everything Buddy just said right there. So say what you will, but Daniel Penny, I think, did a good thing. He did the right thing. That many arrests, a warrant out, assaulting people, punching an old lady in the face, you know, it is what it is, guys. Law and order is important. Daniel Penny just did what the police wouldn't do in these liberal cities. If you want to know exactly how I feel about the situation, I'm going to talk for a few minutes more. I'm going to post a longer form video of this video on Patreon, so you can see exactly what I think. Write down in the comments below, what do you think? I don't think necessarily Daniel Penny deserved to die, but I do think he needed to be stopped, and unfortunately that happened. That happens very, very often in police encounters too, and not necessarily wrongly. It happens, but he would not have met that fate had he not been abusing people on the subway, had 40 or so arrests and punched an old lady in the face, just to clarify. So, as you guys know, I obviously have a lot of opinions on this this here matter. I won't talk your ears off for too long, but look, the sad reality is that this man was a criminal. We're seeing the same situation that happened with Carl Rittenhouse. With I failed to remember the officer's name that was involved in the George Floyd incident, but look, the Carl Rittenhouse was acquitted. The people who he shot were criminals. One was a pedophile, or pedophile as it's pronounced in the United States. One was carrying a firearm. The other one tried to assault him with a skateboard. They deserved to be shot. Let's be honest. You attack a free citizen who's holding an it wasn't an M4, but you attack a free citizen who is holding an AR. What do you expect is going to happen? He's not holding a rifle. It's not an assault rifle, it's just a rifle. He's not holding a rifle in his hands for no reason. The same thing happened with Daniel Penny. Daniel Penny was trained to protect people with his life, and he very much has done that. God bless Daniel Penny. He did not do anything wrong, let's be honest. If that was one of your family members that was on that train, listen, liberals, I'm talking to you now, okay? You want to say that he didn't deserve to die, blah, 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 whatever it may be. If that was your family member on the train and he was being abused, and your family member, say it was your 15-year-old daughter or your 18-year-old daughter, was being approached by that man and being intimidated, abused, and threatened with physical violence, and this is a man who has 40 arrests on his rap sheet, and one of those is punching a 65-year-old lady in the face, would you just say it's okay if that was your daughter on the train who was in fear for her life or her safety because of this man, if you want to call him a man, this human being? Would you be okay with that? No. You would have applauded Daniel Penny and thanked him for what he did in saving your daughter's life, or her freedom, or her mental capacity, whatever it may be, from stopping her from suffering physical and emotional damage, or possibly death. You would have thanked him for that. You would have been grateful. But because it's not your family member, you don't care. Well, you see, another black man. You see a black man being killed by a white man. Let me tell you something. Conservatives genuinely don't see color. I don't see that man who was assaulting people on the train as being a black man. I see him as a criminal. It doesn't matter. He could have been British. He could have been Native American. He could have been Japanese, right? The actions, okay, cause the outcomes, and the actions are the same regardless of that man's race. Daniel Penny would have done the exact same thing to a 6'5" Norwegian guy if he was acting in the same manner. And I guarantee that because Daniel Penny is a Marine. Semper Fidelis, always faithful. Faithful to what, may you ask? Faithful to the Constitution, to the people he protects, to his own integrity, to his honor. How honorable would Daniel Penny have been if he watched this man threaten people on the New York subway and not have gotten involved? His very fabric, his being as a Marine means he has to intervene. Semper Fidelis. Repeat that with me. Semper Fidelis. It's Latin for always faithful. To the people around him, to the people he has made an oath to protect. He protected people on that day. And do you know what? He protected New Yorkers. And do you know what New York is doing to him because he's protecting New Yorkers? They're going to try and stick him with a life sentence in prison for killing a criminal who was in the process of committing a crime. He was in the process of committing a crime. He had a warrant out for his arrest. He'd been to prison multiple times. We're not talking about an upstanding member of society who was just going about minding his own business, are we? My God. The same thing happened with Carl Rittenhouse. They tried to put him in prison. I think he's a damn hero. I'm not condoning the killing of anyone, guys. I'm just saying, if someone came at me and tried to hurt me or hurt others around me, damn right, I would send him to his maker. It all comes down to whether you're religious or not as well, guys. Because killing, the Bible says, thou shalt not murder. It was wrongly translated in its first translation to English. In fact, in its initial translation, when it was written in Greek, Aramaic and Latin, and Hebrew, the phrase they used in Hebrew, it was in a Hebrew written section of the Bible, and actually the direct translation as we know it now today is thou shalt not murder. There are two types of homicide. There is legal killing and illegal killing. Murder, of course, is illegal killing. When I say illegal killing, is that you can't just walk up to a human being on the street and kill them for no apparent reason. However, if a human being is in the act of committing violent, offensive, life-threatening, abusive crime, that's not murder. It is homicide, but it's legal killing. And the Bible says that's perfectly acceptable. It's not necessarily about morality, because you can't kill someone who's unfaithful, for example, to their spouse. That's morally reprehensible, but it's still not justified. However, someone who's threatening people on a subway, I don't think it was Daniel Penny's intention to kill that man. I think Daniel Penny subdued him, incapacitated him, and unfortunately, as happens in a lot of these situations, the man passed away. However, we both know that if the New York justice system and the police were actually given some authority and were not controlled by liberals who do not believe in the rule of law, that man would have already been in prison. His life would have been somewhat safe from it being taken because he was creating some kind of civil unrest and committing crime. He may have been in a prison, but he was still alive. He should have been in prison, New York. To the New York DA or whatever you want to the people, the politicians that are running it. Is AOC from New York? I don't know where she's from. I don't give a shit. Start convicting criminals and giving them harsh sentences. It's not okay to run riot in the street. It's not okay to kill people and burn down shops and fight police officers. It's not okay. If you were caught stealing a horse in the Old West, you were hanged. Because you are a detriment to society, you are a risk to those around you. Dude, I'm not saying hang them, I'm saying put them in prison. Put them for life in prison. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. He had 40 arrests, why was he out? You think a man who has 40 arrests on his rap sheet is gonna get out of prison a reformed man? 40. Of course he's not gonna be reformed. He's going to get out. He's going to do the exact same thing. And he did. And he paid the price. And now an innocent man, a good citizen, a good Samaritan who saved people from harm is now in prison. And it's New York, so we don't know what's going to happen. It angers me. Where's your patriotism? Where is the patriotism? Who are they loyal to but themselves? It's pure arrogance. You care about the rights of transgenders and people who want to cut their penis off to be a different gender. You care about them, but you won't give them psychiatric treatment. Okay? You care about them, but you don't care about heroes, war heroes. 24-year-old Marine. He literally signed a dotted line and he accepted the inevitability or the possibility of death for this very flag. And you're going to persecute him for that? Really? Is that who you are? I see you, liberals of New York, of Los Angeles, of California. That's why I'm moving to the South. That's why I'm going to Florida. I can exercise my Second Amendment rights. I can exercise my First Amendment rights. Damn, but I can exercise the whole damn Bill of Rights, the whole Constitution I can exercise. It's not full of liberal idiots. Dipshits, as we call them in England. Uneducated, immoral, non-religious atheists who think it's their version of morality that shall prevail and God's word means nothing. It angers me. If it was up to me, they think they've got it so bad in the United States. The United States is not racist. Piss off. You want to see racism? Send them to Japan. There's not a single black man in Japan that people don't stare at in the street. To China. Go to China. Russia. You can't even be gay in Russia. Here in the Middle East, you can't kiss your wife in the street. And you think you're oppressed. Go and see something real. You know, guys, I've been to some of the worst places on this planet. And like I said, I don't want to get into why I was there. I've been to the Middle East. I've been to many countries in the Middle East. I've been to many countries in Africa. They're not good places. Stop whining about the United States of America because you haven't got free healthcare. Fuck your free healthcare. These people haven't got healthcare at all. People in the Middle East and Africa are killing their own people. And you're worried about your life in New York City. Moral of the story is, guys, you'll be safe in New York City. You will, so long as you do not commit a crime, because I promise you a Marine will come and he will end you. That's why you don't fuck around, because when you fuck around, you find out. And there are real American patriots out there who will do what needs to be done. You think if I see a crime, a violent crime being committed in the streets of Florida, you can be damn right I'm concealed carrying. Good citizens do. That's why you have a right. Second Amendment, guys, look it up. Just to clarify, that's number 2. Jesus Christ, we don't like that either, do you? And you probably hate me for speaking about this. Ridiculous. Got a little angry there. I promised I'd only be like 2-3 minutes. Got carried away. But I've got plenty more content coming. Hopefully you absolutely love it. I'm angry and I'm not in the mood to be happy and smiley, but I am. It's just ridiculous. I just wish the United States used to be the best country in the world because of its people. It still is because of its people, but it's not all people. It's not all people, guys. Bring on DeSantis. Bring on DeSantis. He will hopefully fix this. We need some balance in New York City and California. They're running rampant, and those are the 2 biggest names that people know from abroad of the United States. California, New York, and they think that's what that's what America is like. If anyone here is watching and you haven't visited the United States, don't go to New York City. Don't go to Los Angeles. All you're gonna find is homeless people and needles, drugs and crime, people looting in the streets, empty Walmart shelves because they keep getting robbed. That's what you're gonna find. Yeah? Go to the South. Go to the Midwest even. Some parts in the Midwest. You know? Go to I don't know. Just don't go all the way east and don't go all the way west. Just go down south. Get yourself a nice place in Texas. Go visit Florida. Go visit Alabama. Go visit God-loving people with good morals, good food, good weather. Oh, it's bloody humid, don't it? Just go there. Don't bother with these big northern cities or western cities. You don't need that. Don't go to Oregon or Washington either. Been to Oregon, beautiful, beautiful climate. Some of the people are absolutely lovely, but damn, it is liberal as shit. Like, like I was wearing a t-shirt like this with the American flag on it, and I got weird looks. If I had a pride flag, they would have been bloody happy with it. The American flag is offensive to liberals, guys. My opinion is you should put them on a boat, send them to Africa or Asia somewhere. Give them a couple years, they can see what life really is like in the rest of the world, and I promise you they will come back the best patriots you could ever possibly imagine. I'll leave you with that sentiment, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you very, very much. If it is just happen to be, I don't know your name, it's South Carolina Mum. Go Clemson Tigers. Have a great day.